Chapter 546, Fighting Alone Against the Flood Dragon Tribe. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Aoxinian was worried, so she went upstream. Despite the danger, she was ready to fight together with Zhang Yuochen. She said, "Group leader, even if we have to fight it out to the end and die together, it's not a big deal." Zhang Yuochen can't stand it any longer. Huh? The four evil masters of the black market looked upward, gloating. All the soldiers of Primitive World thought Zhang Yuochen was asking for death by turning against the Flood Dragon Tribe. Roar! The Flood Dragon Tribe commander bellowed with rage and shook its head. Its head became swollen with red scales and turned into a large head once again. It stretched its two claws out to Zhang Yuochen's head, growling, "Extraterritorial human, you little bastard. How dare you hit me with a Flood Dragon Tendon Whip? I will tear you to pieces." Zhang Yuochen snorted and said, "So what?" Snap. Zhang Yuochen whipped the Flood Dragon Tribe commander again on the crest of its head. The Flood Dragon Tribe commander stretched out a claw to fend off the Flood Dragon Tendon Whip. But the strength of the whip was so powerful that even after the whip circled its claw, it still struck the commander right on its crest. The Flood Dragon Tribe commander let out another cry and stepped back. Seeing this, everyone was shocked and confused. Zhang Yuochen's cultivation was only at the completion stage of the Heaven Realm. How was he able to make the Flood Dragon Tribe commander at the sixth change of the Fish Dragon Realm lick dust? This was very weird. How did group leader's strength become so powerful? Aoxinian was confused. The Orange Star emissary bonded. She finally realized and said, "It is not that he had become more powerful, but it is us that have become weaker. Our cultivation and strength had been suppressed by the water pressure." Zhang Yuochen, however, is able to control space, so he was not affected at all. If I'm not mistaken, Zhang Yuochen has been restraining himself because he was waiting for this moment to come. Aoxinian and Huang Yanshan finally understood what was going on. The Flood Dragon Tribe commander charged at Zhang Yuochen with two sharp claws attacking him from different directions at the same time. "You are too slow." Swoosh! Zhang Yuochen rushed upward through the gap between its claws and landed on the head of that Flood Dragon Tribe commander. Zhang Yuochen grabbed its crest with his left hand and pulled out the ancient abyss sword with his right. He pulled out the long sword with grace, sank his wrist, and stabbed the commander straight on the head. Pfffff. The sword tip pushed through the thick scales and into the skull of the Flood Dragon Tribe commander. Zhang Yuochen drew the sword horizontally, circled the commander's head and then cut it off. Zhang Yuochen executed the whole set of movements neatly. The Red Cloud Pythons were shocked to see a human killing a Flood Dragon Tribe commander. They rushed forward and surrounded Zhang Yuochen. Roar! The four Flood Dragon Tribe commanders stood in four directions, howling deafeningly together with the tribe. It looked like a group of dragons dancing wildly. They weren't real dragons, but the scene was still quite terrifying to see. Zhang Yuochen was standing alone with his sword in his hand at the center of the Flood Dragon Tribe. His long black hair was floating in the water like seaweed. He looked handsome yet fearless. With his cold eyes and sharp look, he shouted, "Kill!" Swoosh! He turned into a shadow and rushed forward, falling beside a Red Cloud Python. He stretched out his sword, penetrated it into the python's abdomen, and then pushed his sword. With a piercing sound, the Red Cloud Python's abdomen cracked and its body was chopped in half. The Red Cloud Python was actually extremely fast, but once they fought at 15,000 meters below sea level, it became too difficult for the Red Cloud Python to escape Zhang Yuochen's attacks. At that point, the speed of a Red Cloud Python at the third change in the Fish Dragon Realm is as slow as that of a warrior at the initial stage of the Earth Realm. Within 10 minutes, Zhang Yuochen killed 17 Red Cloud Pythons, leaving their huge corpses to sink toward the seafloor. Swish! Two Flood Dragon Tribe commanders at the seventh change in the Fish Dragon Realm rushed forward together to stop Zhang Yuochen from killing more. One of them collected its strength. It was emitting lighting from its claws to shock Zhang Yuochen. This Flood Dragon Tribe commander was a tough one. It was capable of applying the Thunderbolt power and burst forth powerful attacks under such circumstances. If the battle were in the water, Zhang Yuochen would definitely lose. Swish! Zhang Yuochen pushed his arms forward, applying the sword defending technique with the ancient abyss sword flying out at the same time. Poof! the ancient abyss sword flew through the lightning and broke through the claw of the Flood Dragon tribe commander, penetrating into its abdomen. When the ancient abyss sword flew back, the body of the Flood Dragon tribe commander was split in half. At this moment, there was a strong fluctuation of power coming from above. Did the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King stop holding back? Zhang Yuochen looked up. He could feel that the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King had rushed into the sea and was coming down. The Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King was a 6th level savage beast, comparable to a half-saint. Its strength was 100 times greater than that of the strongest Flood Dragon tribe commander. Even if the water pressure could suppress its power, Zhang Yuochen could not rival it. The only hope is for Zhang Yuochen to break through the ultimate realm of the Heaven Realm. Come on, come on, come on. Zhang Yuochen had almost 30 million military merits. He could reach the ultimate realm of the Heaven Realm at any minute. What Zhang Yuochen can do now is to race against time. He was supposed to get all the military merits he needed before the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King arrived. Swish. Zhang Yuochen started multitasking. On one hand, he regulated the ancient abyss sword to attack the other flood dragon at the 7th change in the fish dragon realm. At the same time, he rushed to the other flood dragon tribe commander at the 6th change in the fish dragon realm and struck out a dragon and elephant prajna palm to attack its head. That flood dragon tribe commander was about to escape, but Zhang Yuochen caught it and crushed it under his feet. Divine Dragon Steel. The 6th movement of Dragon and Elephant Palm. Zhang Yuochen's palm emitted dozens of lightning rays and fell on the top of its head. The Flood Dragon tribe commander let out a cry, and bloody breaches appeared on its head. Zhang Yuochen struck out a dozen palms in a row and finally pierced through its head. The Flood Dragon tribe commander was dead, with its white brains gushing out and water rushing into its body. Meanwhile, the Flood Dragon tribe commander at the 7th change in the Fish Dragon realm was split into 9 pieces by the ancient abyss sword. 4 of the 5 Flood Dragon tribe commanders had been killed. The only one left was a Flood Dragon tribe commander at the 6th change in the Fish Dragon realm. The Flood Dragon tribe commander was too frightened to fight against Zhang Yuochen, so he immediately fled upward. Where do you think you're going? Zhang Yuochen stepped out of the water and ran after it. The reward for killing a Flood Dragon tribe commander at the 6th change of the Fish Dragon realm was 400,000 military merits. With this, Zhang Yuochen would be able to have over 30 million military merits and thus obtain the Cord of Gods. You are only human. How dare you slaughter the Flood Dragon tribe? It was the voice of the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King. At 15,000 kilometers below sea level, it was pitch dark. Suddenly, a holy light shone down. It was like a shooting star falling from the sky at night. The white holy light condensed into a huge handprint, falling toward Zhang Yuochen's head. Zhang Yuochen knew that the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King had arrived. He remained calm and struck out the ancient abyss sword. The sword flew off in an arc, avoided the holy light handprint of the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King and aimed towards the Flood Dragon tribe commander. At the same time, Zhang Yuochen regulated all his genuine chi and gathered it to the palm of his hand. He then struck out 12 handprints in a row, breaking out a 12-fold attack to defend himself. It was the 5th palm of the Dragon and Elephant Prajna palm, 9 folds of the elephant power. The Dragon and Elephant Prajna palm had reached the superior class martial technique of the spiritual stage. Thus the power of this palm has increased and could turn into a 12-fold attack, which could be known as 12-fold force of elephant palm. A warrior in the completion of Heaven Realm fighting against a 6th-level savage beast was entirely unheard of. However, it had become a reality. Zhang Yuochen This is a soldier of primitive world at the 2nd change in the Fish Dragon realm could hardly believe his eyes. He couldn't describe what he was feeling inside. There was no doubt that Zhang Yuochen would be killed. Bam! Zhang Yuochen's handprint collided with the holy light handprint above with a thud. A circular wave spread out, sending red cloud pythons and soldiers of primitive world flying. Puff! Despite the protection of the Dragon Pearl, Zhang Yuochen still suffered a heavy blow from the attack and spat a mouthful of blood. He was hit so badly by the handprint that he fell downward. He fell for more than 1,000 meters before regaining his stability. Then, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Despite the water pressure, the strength of the Black Skeleton Flood Dragon King was powerful enough to defeat Zhang Yuochen. However, Zhang Yuochen's ability of withstanding attacks was also remarkable. A desperate cry of a python was heard in the distance. The ancient abyss sword finally hit the body of the Flood Dragon tribe commander and killed it. All of a sudden, Zhang Yuochen felt a mysterious power fluctuation between heaven and earth, as if the gate of the divine world had opened. Could it be that his military merits had finally reached 30 million and that he finally broke through the boundary of the ultimate realm? Zhang Yuochen's face brightened. At this very moment, the spiritual blood of all the indigents of primitive worlds, that is, Xuanwu primitive world, Wood Spirit primitive world, and Five Elements primitive world, were gathered from the earth, the seawater, and the air. All converged above the 9 heavens. Under the guidance of a vast and unpredictable power, a magnificent sacrificial ceremony in the void space of the different primitive worlds finally began.